Hello, gorgeouses. Welcome to the morning show. Happy Friday. How are you feeling? I'm so excited to dive in with you today. Today, we are talking about how to break free of your looping reality. You guys know what I'm talking about. When your reality just seems to be giving you the same dish over and over and over again. And you're like, how in God's name do I get out of this? So, we're going to break it down today. I'm really excited about this one because this is going to really make a lot of things click for you guys. I think this is going to take you to that new level where you're like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. So let's go. If you're new here, hello, hi, my name is Marli. I'm a transformational coach and spiritual teacher. And we are here Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the morning show, talking about all of the up-levelly magical things. We talk about your life. We talk about relationships. We talk about your career, your business, and how to become your best and highest version of you so that you can have it all. Like, let's go. And today we're talking about breaking free from that looping reality. So let's dive in. Now, first and foremost, on YouTube, are we noticing perfectly clear picture here? Like, I got a new computer. That sounds like not a big deal, but I'm going to tell you right now, I had my old computer for 6 years. Like, I had the computer that I started this business with. So, getting a new computer very much feels like a new cycle beginning, very much feels like the next era, the new chapter. And so, I'm just very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Okay, let's dive in. So, how are you feeling? How's it going? Say hello, say hi as you're jumping on. So, recently, in my world, we've been talking a lot about that feeling of when you're hitting a wall, that feeling of I'm stuck and I don't know how to get out of it, or that feeling of a looping reality. Good morning, Amber. That feeling where you're like, I'm trying not to like same shit, different day. You know what I mean? Like where it's the same thing that's going on over and over and over again. And it literally feels like you can't get out of it. And it is the most exasperating and frustrating experience ever if you've ever been in this. And, let's just all be real. Like we've all been there at some point, right? So, when you're in this kind of looping reality space, we're going to talk quantum here for a minute. So, stick with me. It should land on you easily, even if this isn't the world that you dive into all the time. But I want to break it down for you so that you can understand how and why the looping reality is happening and how you are in absolute control over it. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to break free of your looping reality and you can just pop off of here and go do it. Amen and the hallelujahs. Okay, so I want you to think about, as we've talked about before, everything is energy, right? You've got this loop of energy that's happening. This is how we've got to view it because this is what's happening. So if you have a loop of energy that's happening, and just think about it like this, you have your reality that you're in, right? Your reality that you're in, meaning like your day-to-day life, you have a very specific relationship to it right now. We are in relationship to everything. So when you are operating in your day to day, you have a relationship with your day to day. Okay, stay with me. You have a relationship with how you wake up in the morning. You have a relationship with your morning routine. Now, when I'm saying relationship, we can break this down as you have a certain way you feel about it. With me, you have an exchange of energy with your routine. You have an exchange of energy with the decisions you make on a day to day. You have an exchange of energy with how you view your day and what you believe is possible and what you believe you have to do. And you're making up all of these things that has to do with the stuff you do every single day. Okay. So you have a certain, let's call it color for our metaphor. You've got like a certain color of energy that you're operating in day to day. And that exchange, you see, I'm already doing it. That exchange goes out of you and it comes back to you. So, with everything, not just with people, like with how you wake up in the morning, with your morning routine, with what you eat for breakfast, with when you start your work, with the feeling that you have towards your work, with your beliefs and ideas about what's possible that day. It's this exchange of energy that's happening all the time. You guys with me? Tracking? Click, click. So every day you are projecting out a certain flavor of energy, a certain color, a certain vibration, whatever you want to call it, a certain feeling that's coming out of you every single day. And in that day to day operation, that exact same energy is coming right back to you. You with me? So we're already setting up, you see the loop, right? Every day I wake up, every day I do my morning routine, every day I'm starting my work, every day I'm having conversations, every day I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat for lunch, every day you see what I'm saying? So every day you're kind of operating in the same way. But it's less about like I'm doing the same things every single day, and it's more about the way I feel about it. Because how I feel about what I'm doing day to day is determining the relationship I have with it. So let's think about this. Is that relationship evolving? Is that relationship a healthy one? Is that relationship feeding you? Is it giving you back good energy? All things to start kind of breaking down and thinking about with this. Well, if I wake up in the morning and my first feeling and thought is stress about everything that's got to get done, I didn't get enough sleep the night before, I'm feeling like, oh my God, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. That's a very specific energy. Do you feel it? It's a very specific feeling. So if I'm waking up with that feeling, then I am initiating that same loop of energy every day. Now, if I go throughout my day and I don't change the way that I feel about what I've got going on, like an example, have you ever gone to work on a day where it's the same old, same old? You know what that feels like? Have you ever gone to work the day before you're going on vacation? It's a different vibe, isn't it? It's a totally different energy. Why? Because you're doing the same thing, right? You're waking up in the same way, you're having your morning routine, you're eating your breakfast, you're going to your job or you're going to your office to do your work for the day. But it feels different if tomorrow you're going on vacation. Something shifted the energy and you're viewing it differently. Does that affect the kind of day you have? Is it a totally different result, outcome, experience? Now, what changed? Just you, just you, and the way that you are projecting onto it. So, if I'm going on vacation tomorrow, like I'm going to Aruba or whatever, and I wake up today, I'm not thinking, oh God, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. I gotta get that done, blah, blah, blah. I'm waking up thinking, I'm going to Aruba tomorrow. I am immediately waking up with a different energy. The day didn't change. My job didn't change. Breakfast didn't change. The morning didn't change. I changed. So now let's break this down a little bit more because with our vacation metaphor or example, we're still relying on an external thing to determine how we feel. You guys see where I'm going with this, right? So, what is stopping us from deciding that we're going to feel the way that we want to feel, like the excitement of the possibility and potentiality of life every single morning? What is stopping us from choosing that feeling every morning? Literally nothing. Literally nothing is stopping us. But we're falling into the routine where life is dictating how you feel rather than choosing how you feel on a day to day basis. Okay, we're going to break it down a little bit further. But we got to start with I am the one who is projecting the energy out that's coming right back to me. And if I'm doing it in the same patterns every day, I am going to recreate the same reality every day. Is everybody clicking with understanding how you end up in a looping reality? It starts first with what you're projecting out of you. If every day I'm thinking the same thing, every day I'm feeling the same thing, I'm just running right back into that rut of the pattern. I am going to end up repeating the same pattern over and over and over and over again. Okay. So, this is first and foremost because before we take full ownership that I'm the one who's doing it, you will feel like you're stuck. You're never stuck. ever, 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 you can create the illusion of feeling like you're stuck, but you're never stuck. It is always, it always initiates with you. But if I got into a pattern, this is also called a habit. If I got into a habit of feeling the same things, doing the same things, thinking the same things, universal law, you're going to recreate the exact same reality every day. Now, we all have about maybe five different patterns of reaction. You with me on this? We all have maybe 5 different patterns of reaction, meaning you've got maybe 5 different ways that you handle any given thing in your life. It's either like calm, right? I'm calm, I take it in, I think about it, and then I react to it. That's not where most of us are, though, is it? It's frustration, anger, excited. You feel what I'm saying? You have a pattern of reaction. When you are just allowing life, I see you, Amber, just allowing life to dictate you, you are automatically falling into one of those patterns because it's a habit and you are not taking control of your reaction and then therefore deciding what energy you want to put out that's going to come right back to you. Does this make sense? So this is that, we talk about like in the spiritual world, like sleeping through your reality. When you are not awakened to your own self, it's going to feel as though you have no control. It's going to feel as though you are just dictated by what happens around you because your feelings and your patterns are the ones who are running this automated system. And you're just like along for the ride, right? So in my world, this is why we focus so much on ownership and recognizing the feelings that are happening so that you can create that space. So when we talk about space, we're talking about the space between I feel something and then I react. The bigger this space is, the more in control of your life you are. You guys heard that, right? The bigger the space is between how I feel and how I react, the more in control of my life I am. So when I have space between I feel something, like my reality has caused me to feel something, and instead of auto reacting, if I have the ability to have space there where I go, oh, wait, that hit me. Why am I suddenly feeling bad about myself right now? Why am I suddenly feeling triggered? Why am I suddenly feeling fear? Like what was just happening right now that I'm feeling this feeling right now? And you can assess it. If you have space, you can hold space for yourself, meaning like I can feel what I feel and not react to it. I can get curious about it. Then I have the power to decide what energy am I going to throw out into my snow globe because the energy I put out is the energy that's going to come right back to me, especially when we take action. Whatever action you take, like in our example of the morning where you are going on vacation tomorrow versus not, the action can be exactly the same. But when you take action, you are manifesting, hear me on this. When you take action, you are manifesting the energy you are in. Did everybody get that? When you take action, you are going to manifest whatever energy you're in. So, do you see the importance of never taking action out of fear? Do you see the importance of never taking action from anger? We want to be able to witness these feelings and then decide, what am I going to do from here? Now, ideally, what you're doing is witnessing the feeling and getting the information out of it because all feeling is giving us information about ourselves. It's giving us information about what I believe to be true right now. It's giving us information about what needs to be healed inside of me, especially if you're triggered. Any trigger has got some gold for you. What I mean by that is like when you get triggered, it's showing you a part of yourself that you're not free. It's showing you a part of yourself that's wounded. It's showing you something inside of you that's like, hey, you need to look at this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be triggered. I always give this really silly example, but it's so like blatant and true. If I tell you something about yourself and it triggers you, it is because part of you believes in the truth of it. But if I look at you and I'm like, if your name is Sarah, and I'm like, you know what, Sarah? You know what? Your name is Bob. Is Sarah triggered? No, because there's no truth in it for her at all. But if Sarah has deep insecurity issues, and I look at Sarah and I say something along the lines of like, well, the reason that you're not successful is because you're so insecure. Right in the belly, right? So whenever we get triggered, there's something in it for you. And this is the moment where we've got to like pause and not take things so personally. For one, we got to stop taking everything so personally. But two, just get curious about it. Like, what is this reacting in me? Why am I reacting to it? Hold that space for yourself so that you can then transmute it. And this is the healing work that we do. You guys know the healing work that we do is transmuting. When I say transmuting, we're getting the gold, we're actually neutralizing that energy. So, without getting like too deep into it, we are all nothing but electrons, protons, and neutrons. And as we know, electrons, protons, and neutrons have positive and negative charges that are reacting to each other all the time. When you have a trigger, there is a big charge of energy. That's the trigger you feel. When we transmute the trigger, we are neutralizing the charge. Hence, you don't feel it anymore. Once you neutralize a trigger because you understand what it had for you, you move that energy out of your body, you will not get triggered by that same situation anymore. This is the magic. It feels like magic, but it's literally like science. You will not get triggered by the same things because we've neutralized that energy in your body. Okay, so we're getting like real deep into it. When you're in this loop and you're not in control, meaning you don't have that space between what you feel and how you act, then it's going to automatically recreate the same reality. Now, here's what's cool about this. It is a fail-proof mechanism of the universe. Fail-proof mechanism of the universe. Basically to keep you safe, right? Like you have a reaction, you take action in the same energy that you've been in, it's going to recreate the same reality. If you took the same action and in the same energy and it created a different level of reality, that would be insanity. That would be chaos. You got it? So, the way our universal mechanism works is if you do the same stuff in the same energy and you're doing the same thing every single day, it's going to recreate the same reality. So, now let's talk about how to break free. One, we've already covered. You got to like create that space. Now, the way that you start creating that space, I highly recommend meditation. And I know I'm a spiritual teacher and that sounds very cliche, but what meditation does is it slows the mind. And when you slow the mind down, you then have the capability to feel the feel before you take action. So we want to get out of that reactive state because reactivity is not serving us. We're not in control when we're in reactivity, right? So shifting the action you take based on how you feel because your reality is making you feel something and then you're just reacting in the same way. And so it's creating that loop, right? That's that healing work to shift that energy out. Now, once you start shifting the energy out, once you become aware of this, now you can really amp it up by starting to take different action. So now, if you've been in my world for a while, you've heard me talk about identity shifting, identity shedding, choosing to upgrade at the identity level. Now, these terms all mean different things. And for those of you who are on the wait list for a spiritual coach training program, we break this down fully in the spiritual coach training program because that program is all centered around quantum leaping your reality through healing work and shifting your identity. So when you go through identity shedding, now identity shedding is kind of like that dark night of the soul process. We're not going to get into that too much today. But when you decide that you're ready to shift your identity, meaning you're ready for an upgrade, like I'm done feeling like I'm victimized and put into a box and like this world tells me who I am and what I'm done with that. I'm going to now start choosing to be who I want to be. I'm going to now start intentionally stepping into that confident powerhouse version of myself. When you get to that point and you're doing the healing work so that you can shift the energy out of your body that's been causing you to react over and over and over again, now you're creating space and deciding who you're going to be. Now you want to add in intentional action of things you've never done before. So the equation is healing, doing the healing work, healing those trigger points because that's causing a lot of reaction in you, plus sign, taking action from the level of the new identity of who you want to be equals timeline shift. You're going to jump to a new reality. Now, that's beautiful and fun, right? But like I can tell you that all day long, but until you start doing this work, it's not going to click it totally in for you. Once you start doing the work, what's going to happen is a month from now, you're going to look back on who you are today and you're going to go, "Oh my God, that literally feels like a past life. I don't even know that version of me anymore. I can hardly remember it. Wow, this has happened in my life more times than I can really actually explain." Because when we're evolving, just like we talk about floors in the building, when you leave floor one, it doesn't exist for you anymore. You might have a slight memory of it, but you're on floor two now, which is a totally different timeline. It's a totally different world. Okay, so we have our healing work, plus you want to get super clear on the identity of who you want to be. And you can ask yourself things like, okay, I can see this version of me in my mind, right? I can see it in my mind. What actions, how does she live? What are things that that version of me does on a daily basis? And as you are starting to do those things, and it could be simple things, like it can be, don't overdo it because that will sabotage you. Simple things. Like maybe this version of you gets up at 7 a.m. instead of like sleeping in. Or for some people, 7 a.m. is sleeping in. Or this version of you works out in the morning. Maybe you've always wanted to be a person who worked out in the morning, but you've just never done it. Do you see what I'm saying? Little tiny things that you see this next level identity of you does. Even easier than that, get your hair cut, get your hair dyed, whatever it is that you see in your mind of this next version of you and how she operates. So now we're doing healing work, which is the actual root of the foundation that's going to create that permanent, sustainable change. Plus, you're intentionally starting to take action from a future version of yourself. You do these two things together, you're going to shift your entire reality. Now, bonus points here if you do something that really scares you or something that does feel big. Maybe you book this amazing trip, or maybe the phrase I've heard before is called throw your hat over the wall. Because if you throw your hat over the wall, you got to go get it. So maybe you commit to something that you can't get out of. Like commit to something big that puts you on a whole new level. So an example, here we are with the morning show. There was a time when I didn't do the morning show. You with me? And there was a time when I got the idea to do the morning show and I was like, I don't know. I don't go live every day. What? Because in the beginning, we just started doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday this summer, but we were doing it every single day, January to June. Prior to that, making that commitment, my life before the morning show, it feels like a lifetime ago. It feels like, who was I? I can barely remember it. And this is because when you make an intentional energy shift into a new timeline, a new reality, this one feels like a past life. It feels like eons ago. Does this make sense? So when we're doing this is the power that we have. So what I want to emphasize over and over and over, you are not stuck. You are not stuck. But so long as you're allowing your reality to dictate you, it's going to feel like you're stuck, but you never have been and you never were. It's always about the energy that you are choosing to project out. And if I'm allowing my current reality to tell me how to feel, well, I'm just exchanging energy with a past version of myself. Like past me projected this energy out that created this reality. And now that energy is coming right back into me. And then I'm just projecting out the same energy again. So your power is like life is going to life. Your life is what it is right now. We have to accept that. It's going to throw an energy back to you. This is your moment. This is your moment. In this moment, you've got to decide, what am I going to do with it now? And as you choose to shift the energy and project something new out, and in tandem with that, you are doing new activities intentionally to embody who you want to be, it's going to change your timeline entirely. Entirely. Let's see. Big Gaz said, like telling the world everything I learned in the last 2 years. Now that sounds like some big energy. That sounds like some big energy. If you've been on a personal journey, and I don't know what journey you've been on, but I'm just going to assume here. If you've been on a personal development journey where you've been learning a lot, if you've been on some sort of like deep dive of study, yeah, committing to something like, you know what, I'm going to show up every day for the next whatever. Like I went extreme and I said, I'm going to do it indefinitely, right? Like I'm going to show up live indefinitely. But, you could commit to the next 30 days, I'm going to show up and I'm going to share something new that I know every single day. That is going to drastically change your life. Big Ass says, I awakened and I learned everything. Let's go. Because we need that. You hear me on this? Like we need what you know. We need it because it's not everybody has the same information. So if you feel a call to share what you have learned, we need it. We need it. Like you don't feel the pull if there's not people on the other end pulling that out of you. Does that make sense? Like the pull feeling where we're like, I don't know why, I just have to. You feel that because there are individuals energetically on the other end of that stick pulling. They need what you've got. You got to do it. Amber said, life definitely dictating. I wake up and I choose to feel one way, and then I struggle as the people around me continue in the same way, and I slowly allow myself to get stuck back into the pattern. Yeah. So we can't control other people. And you knew I was going to say that. We can't control other people, but you can control how you feel about the other people. And that's the difference. That's the difference. So everything that's in your snow globe is showing you, not like my child's face shows me, not like that. It's showing you by how you feel. So if my kid does something nuts and I get triggered, like frustrated and anxious, that is what I need to look at. I don't need to change their behavior. I need to look at why their behavior triggers this in me. And that's where you do that healing work. Does that make sense? Because as you do that healing work, now you're going to start projecting out a different energy, and then you're going to have a different experience of life. They didn't have to change. Kids are going to kid too. Like, and I'm saying kids because I know Amber's a mom, but like kids are going to kid. They're going to be nuts. They're going to push all the boundaries because that's just what they do, right? It's not about getting them to stop. It is about how we handle that moment. And it's not a willpower game. And it can feel like a willpower game. You know what I mean? Like just be patient. Just don't yell at them. It's really not about that. Like in the moment, it might need to be a willpower thing where you like take a breath, walk away, and then go get curious and do that healing work. Again, you guys know if you want to do the healing work with me, come into the Miracle Matrix experience. This is exactly what we're doing in there. We're going to be working through all of those triggers. We're going to be shutting out that old energy. We're going to be breaking you free to a new reality where you feel that calm, confident, successful, like I got me, life is fun version of you, Miracle Matrix. So if you're interested in that, just reach out. We start next Tuesday. So we're actually down to the wire now. Like now is the time for the enrollment period. So do we get it? Because this was awesome. This was awesome. And if you're right here tracking with me, you know exactly what you need to go do. Amen. Cool. All right, my loves, I love you so much. We're going to wrap. If you are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're putting out videos much more regularly in addition to the lives. So you want to come and be a part of that. And if we're not friends on Instagram, come over on Instagram. It's at Marli Ansel. Everywhere you can find me, it's at Marli Ansel. And we'll keep going with our awakening journey. Big Gaz says, I travel through the stars when I close my eyes, started 3 years ago. Yes. And isn't it just like, it's magic, right? Like it's magic. And you start really awakening, and I'm sure you can attest to this. You start being like, life is so wild. Like life is so weird. You really start opening up your mind to everything that actually is, and you start realizing how much there is and also how much you don't know. It's like it's really fun. We got to stay grounded because I could swim in the cosmos and just be happy, right? But we're here creating a material experience, having a physical experience for a reason. It's for fun, it's for play. Awaken as many people as possible. I will say this, don't try to force your beliefs on people, or force the awakening. That's never going to work. But creating something like a YouTube channel, I don't know what your thought is, but creating something like a YouTube channel and allowing people to come to you, that's money. That's money, because that's how you're going to attract those people who are ready. Yeah. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to go. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. If you're interested in joining the Miracle Matrix, come over and see me. I will drop the links in the show notes below if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Instagram, you can check out the link in my bio. Gives you all of the details. It's a 3-month healing immersion with me. It's going to be absolutely magical. I can't wait for it. All right. I will see you soon. Goodbye, my loves. Goodbye.